Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here, and we're finally doing it. Arachnophobia. I can't wait to talk about it today on Hack the Movies.
Tapes, we're talking about tapes.
Hello, Tim.
Tony, back at it again, my friend.
Back at it. I'm a little upset with you off the bat.
Oh, what happened?
On this show, we only acknowledge the true Buffy, and I notice you're wearing a Sarah Michelle Gellar Buffy shirt.
Here we go. Tony, I don't want to have to battle after this episode.
Well, you learned all your moves from Sarah Michelle Gellar, so I will win because I followed Christy Swanson.
At least I can pose, Tony. At least I'm hot. Psych.
How dare you? Yes, Arachnophobia, a movie I've been wanting to cover on the show for a very, very long time.
Well, thanks for having me on for it. This movie rules.
This movie does rule, and there's a reason I have you on for it. Let's just get it out of the way.
Yes. So currently we have our pre-order up for our Arachnophobia release.
Yes.
And all Hack the Movies fans using their code HackTheTony get a discount. And I will be leaving it up for this episode. So
good.
Feel free to, shop and pre-order and get some spider.
Get that Arachnophobia merch now. So I wanted to cover this years ago. We talked about it in the second Alien 3 episode that back when we had the ranking system when I couldn't review movies I wanted to. It was decided because I wanted to review Arachnophobia and I was told no. So, which meant I couldn't also do Alien 3, which is why I did the whole YouTube Alien 3 thing for a year and manipulated the search results.
We are back.
So in that episode, I joked about doing it for Arachnophobia. I didn't go that hard, though. I don't even know if we ever affected the search results. Fuck it, we're doing it anyway. Arachnophobia.
We're doing it.
It's weird. This one, I feel like gets forgotten about when it comes to the 90s Abmlin, obviously 90s Abmlin Entertainment. You've got Spielberg, you got Jurassic Park, I also think he produced this.
Yes, he did.
Yep, the Flintstones. But yeah, this was well received, and it did well. And I feel like it's kind of been forgotten. I don't know why it's not. It's not like Congo, which was made by the same people, literally the same director. When that came out, people were like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah, this movie was really big for I would say just 80s and early 90s kids.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's revisited a ton. I don't see it a lot on cable anymore. You might catch it on Fear Fest.
It used to be on cable a lot,
right?
Yes.
But it's not so much anymore.
I used to love this movie as a kid.
It's awesome.
The first ever Holllywood Pictures film.
Okay.
Which was Disney's it was kind of like they were doing the same thing with Touchstone, I think. But they wanted more adult-centered films that didn't have the Disney branding on it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first of them. It's since been defunct. But yeah, they put a lot into this. Abmlin Entertainment, again, Spielberg. He got Frank Marshall to direct this, who's more known for producing. He directed a handful of movies. He followed this up with Congo.
Your favorite.
That's probably why he maybe stuck to producing afterwards. Great producer.
We love him.
And it does, even though Spielberg's not in there, he does have the Spielberg feel. It's got Michael Kahn editing, who edits a bunch for Spielberg. But yeah, it feels very 90s. It's that good period of 90s. And it's right before CG, which is interesting.
And the way they produced spiders for this movie, there's a ton of real spiders in the movie, and there was a spider wrangler and all kinds of crazy shit.
They're mixing real spiders, little animatronic ones, puppet ones.
Yeah.
They're using all the effects. Not that it would have been against CGI, but I feel like 90s CGI spider would have looked pretty bad.
Yeah, not too good. We figured that out with 8-Legged Freaks.
Hey.
And that was still 2000s.
I remember that movie being good. I should revisit it, or should I not revisit it?
David Arquette with a shotgun. I don't know.
I remember really liking 8-Legged Freaks.
Early Scarlet Joe, I think.
Yes, it is. Post Home Alone 3.
Right.
Well, shit. Now I'm afraid to revisit it because I remember that movie being good, but I'll find out.
Yeah, you never know. We'll see.
But yeah, so I used to watch this movie a lot in the 90s, and it's one that I maybe watched this 4 years ago.
Okay.
And even back then, when I watched it this morning, I am able to remember so much of this film, and I actually haven't seen it as much. I've saw it in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I never watched it really in its entirety. Maybe 3 or 4 times. because it was always on cable here and there. But I've seen the movie so much that I know exactly what's going to happen. I remember it so well. I'm like, how do I have such a good memory for this movie?
Yeah, and like this movie for a lot of people, I know when I was talking about how we were going to do this, at least 3 out of the 4 people that I talked to directly were like, I have a spider fear because of this movie.
Yeah.
Like they were like, this kind of sealed the deal for me. So,
and this is that 90s era of, I talk about a lot on the show where it's like, let's take an old cheesy B movie idea and give it like an A budget treatment. Like the examples I always go to is like dinosaur movies before and after Jurassic Park. Dinosaur movies existed. They mostly sucked. And Jurassic Park was like, let's do this with a big budget.
Yep.
Independence Day. There's a ton of alien invasion movies, but never on that scale. So this is like that. Like, oh yeah, the little natural horror films like The Birds and what. Well, The Birds is a good example. But like, every movie that ripped off The Birds, they're like, okay, let's do that, but with spiders and make it look really cool.
And that's exactly what they were going for with this. Apparently, The Birds was like huge inspo for this movie.
Yes. But yeah, I just really love this film, and it's one of those that just keeps getting better as I get older. I didn't realize until today. I didn't realize like how witty the writing is.
The script is amazing.
The script is so good. There's a ton of setup and payoff and play and callbacks.
Yep.
But the dialogue is just so funny. How it like transitions between scenes and characters. Like it's so very, very clever. Way funnier than it has to be. Because as a kid, when you watch it, you're just scared of the spiders.
Sure.
But as you get older, you're like, all right, that's funny. Oh, that's amusing. That's clever. I see what they did there.
The script is fantastic. Tony, you kind of look like John Goodman right now, by the way.
Oh yeah, I have my Bug Be Gone Arachnophobia. Now, what is this? You gave me this. What is this exactly?
That's an original John Goodman promo Bugs Be Gone button up from Abmlin. So yeah, I'd let you save me. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, John Goodman. We'll get to his character.
Yeah. Amazing, the goat.
But yeah, I guess let's get into it.
Let's go.
Movie starts, I guess, on a bit of a sad note. It starts with Julian Sands, the late Julian Sands. I don't think they ever figured out how he died.
No.
But they found pieces of him, I guess. He is James Atherton?
Yes.
I almost said William Atherton. I'm like, no, that's the actor from Ghostbusters, the asshole.
Yeah,
Walter
like
Peck.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yes, James Atherton, and he's meeting with the photographer, Mr. Manley.
Yes.
That guy was in...
Yeah, what's Mr. Manley in?
I think he's in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I looked at his IMDb, I'm like, oh, he's one of those guys.
I've known him from... I just was like, what is this guy in?
So he's a photographer. He's not excited to be there. He mostly does sports photography. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing in Venezuela, but yeah.
Why?
He doesn't seem to like nature.
Dude, they're like letting him walk on his own with like deadly things
but
everywhere.
He's like, he doesn't seem to be into this at all. I'm like, you're not a nature photographer. How did you get here?
The dude literally has a fever from the start of like the scene.
So they're going to explore a mountain that has like a little valley that's kind of like secluded from the rest.
Right.
Of Venezuela. Their guide is too scared to take them further.
Yeah, and it was like the 90s trope of like, this is as far as I go.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's a bunch of like, maybe it wasn't as cliche back then.
Yeah.
But watching now, you're like, oh, that's pretty cliche. But yeah, you're right. That's as far as I go. We go no further than this. So they're finding like giant spider webs, and they find a big tree. And I like Julian Sands has that smoke machine that like smokes them.
Bug bombing them. Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong with going into another country and just spraying chemicals everywhere.
Killing rare new butterfly species.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with it, Tim. You're allowed to just go to countries and spray chemicals everywhere.
And they just had like silver funnels.
Yeah, to funnel all the falling things. I think I read a long time ago, though, but like spiders... If they fall from that, because they have like little exoskeletons, they'll break apart.
Yeah, that is the one thing with this movie is like, all these spiders would have died at like a a waist fall.
Because they just like shatter.
Yeah,
especially when they're that big and heavy. But yeah, so they're finding all these different butterflies and spiders. The cameraman, a spider attacks him.
Yeah,
and the cameraman kills it.
Yep.
Little does he know, there's another spider that's just following, that's like stalking him. It knows revenge.
It literally does. So well, it hitches a ride back.
Yeah. So they take a couple specimens, a few dead ones, and it hitches a ride, which was really funny. And it's specifically going after him, which
Yeah.
is really funny. I'm like, that's not how spiders work, but okay. They're investigating the spider, and it's just like, it turns out it's more like a ant. They're learning. They learn more later, but they're like, wait a minute, this is similar to like a queen or something.
Yeah.
Which is not common in spiders.
No, this was like a new. They were like saying this is like a new species or something.
Yeah,
right?
spiders don't have like queens. Okay, there are some societal spiders. I was looking this up today. There are
My
societal.
God, okay, Bill Nye.
There are a bunch of spiders who will live in like giant webs together, and some of the females produce more offspring than others, but that's related to just how much they're eating and how healthy they are. But no, spiders don't have queens. It's not like really a thing. So yeah, Manly is learning all this, and he doesn't care. He's like, I have a fever. I'm going to go to sleep.
Yep.
And this scene used to terrify me
This
as
was
a
bad.
kid.
This was like, yeah, this was bad.
The spider crawling into the sheet, and you see it crawling up his leg, and then it just bites him, and he's dead.
We're talking gnarly close-up fang shots.
Yeah, they
like,
do extreme close-ups of
Yeah.
the fangs going in. And he just like super dies very fast.
instantly
Instantly he
choking
dies.
out, like done. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's dead, and they're like, well, shit. Let's build him a cheap casket with a hole in it.
Out of sticks, box them up.
Yeah, let's make it out of sticks. I sure hope no giant spiders crawl into this hole. And sure enough, the spider crawls into the
Literally
hole.
baseball size hole.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And they send him back to, what was the town's name? Kamena?
Yeah, that sounds right.
They send him there. It's a nice, peaceful town. Manly's body gets delivered. And I like the more guy. Oh, more cliche.
Yeah,
Eating a sandwich.
Yeah, with the
But they go all in on it. He is snacking the entire movie.
Bag of Ruffles, like, yeah, eating the whole time.
And who was this? This guy was in so many things.
Yeah.
Who,
I didn't do my research as far as the characters before, like what they played.
I'm going to go on a wild guess.
Do it.
I think he was the landlord who was talking bad about Kramer's mother on Seinfeld. When he's like, Babs Kramer, horrible woman, and he doesn't know that Kramer's in disguise.
Okay, you know what?
I think it's that landlord.
Okay.
And if
Correct
it's
us in the
not,
comments, yeah.
this will all be cut out. But I like this whole scene where they're like, all right, yeah, let's break it open. They look at him. They're like, I got to call his parents. Hey, you know, we said closed casket. You're going to want to look at this. I don't know what they're doing in Venezuela, but this isn't right.
Yeah, like their preservation techniques aren't at our level.
Yeah.
And then the reveal, he's literally like a dried banana.
Because the spider's been in there for who knows what, like 2-3 weeks, and it's just been sucking him dry.
Dude, he literally looked like a shriveled up brown
I
banana.
know.
It was disgusting.
And right away, the spider's like, I got work to do.
Let's go.
Even though it's in a completely different environment. But
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
But I like that the dog and cat see it, and they all run out of the doggy door, and then it comes out of the doggy door. So they're scared, but some brave bird is like, oh yeah, I'm eating good today.
Little to that bird now.
This bird dies right away. And of all the places, it drops it right in our main character's new house.
Our good old boy, Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, who's playing Dr. Ross Jennings, I think that was the last name. Him and his wife, Molly, right?
Yes.
They just arrived. They're very excited about their new house. He's excited about his wine cellar. He's calling it the basement. He's got to call it a cellar. Yes, and he talks about like the very expensive wine that he has that comes back later.
Chateau Margaux, $127 a bottle.
And then we learned something very important about him. He has arachnophobia. He's very afraid of spiders.
Yep, and apparently since he's been 2.
Yes, they get into that in a little bit, but yeah, it's so funny. He's like, "Hey, look, it's a spider. You know what? I'm gonna go get your mom, and she's gonna go take care of the spider."
Exactly.
So he's way too afraid.
Yeah.
And like, this poor thing. This mom messed up so bad not killing this spider.
Yes, she blew it.
So yes, they take the house spider. And she's like, "Oh, little guy, it's more scared of us. Let's give it a home in the barn." Not realizing it's a male spider.
She blew it.
The general spider is made at home in the barn. So she leaves this lady spider in there. And then later that night, they're talking about their new life. They're like, yes, away from the hustle and bustle of the city. So Jeff is a doctor.
Right.
And he's gonna get an old doctor's patients. And she was a stockbroker, but now she's just gonna stay at home.
Yeah. And it was kind of like her idea to come to the small
Yes.
town.
Yes.
Yeah.
She got her severance.
Yep.
So she was all on board for it. And they're like, well, we got a bone. It's the first night in the new house.
Let's bone.
And speaking of that lady spider, just shacking up with the first guy she sees, it cuts to the spider's about to bone too.
Literally, it is a like double bone scene.
It's so funny. It's literally like, let's bone, and then it cuts to the spiders and they're like touching.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't even know if that's what spiders do. I don't think they stare at each other holding legs.
Nah, it wasn't hot. No. Like, I was good.
I totally forget that every time. Like, oh yeah, there's a human sex scene and then a spider.
Yes. Oh, man.
What a coincidence that it knew it could just mate with that spider. This thing is eating everything inside.
This spider is literally on a roll, dude.
Yeah.
Like, crushing it.
The next day, fucking boomers. Jeff Daniels, Ross, goes to meet the doctor to get all his patients,
Yeah.
and this doctor just refuses to retire, even though he's elderly and not equipped for the job anymore.
And like everyone is giving Jeff Daniels the hardest time. The like the doctor, like the cops, like everyone hates him.
If I was Jeff Daniels, I would have been like, I'm suing you or something. Like, what
I'm
the
sure, didn't we sign something or like
Yeah.
I moved my whole life?
Yeah, it's
here.
like, you couldn't have told me this. And the guy he's like, my wife couldn't convince me. Why would you? It's like, dude, can you have some compassion? Like, you just fucked me over. And like my whole family, you dumb asshole.
Yeah.
And I guess he's afraid that if he retires, he'll just die right away.
I don't know, man. Jeff Daniels brought like a rotten house with like a shitty wine cellar and like, all this stuff, and you're literally gonna like screw him over right when he gets there. It was extra. It was too.
Luckily, there's a nice old lady,
extra. Yes.
Margaret.
Oh, you know who she is?
Who is she?
Isn't that that's the grandma from Happy Gilmore, I believe? Isn't that Happy?
Oh,
Gilmore?
no. That's the doctor's wife.
The doctor's
later.
wife.
I'm talking about the patient that talks to
and she's
Margaret.
super nice.
She's super nice. She's not a
super
big
nice.
fan of Dr. I forget what his name was. Old
saying
doctor.
he's like not as sharp and all this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's kind of suspicious of him. Like, I don't know if he knows what he's doing
Right,
anymore.
right.
She says, I'll be your patient. And I do like Jeff Bridges. Again, really good Jeff Daniels, sorry. Really, really good dialogue where he's all like, maybe I'll get lucky and she'll be riddled with every disease on the planet.
Because he's got one patient, right?
Yeah. But then the next day she's like, oh, that's such good. It's like, oh, I can't believe the news. It's like, what? That you're not riddled with every disease on the planet? It's an immediate callback.
Yeah,
and
literally,
you see he's like upset that she's so healthy.
Yeah, like you're completely fine.
Maybe I'll get lucky and all of her systems will be ravaged by disease. Oh, sorry. What do you mean you're sorry? I think I was hoping you were ravaged by disease.
But he actually makes a good point. He's just like, hey, your previous doctor was prescribing you wrong. You don't need this heart or this blood pressure medication. You shouldn't be taking this.
Yeah, and that kind of alludes that like Jeff Daniels, like, you know, he knows what's good.
He knows what's going on. And she tells him like, hey, that doctor has always sucked, but he threw a really good party years ago. She's like, you know what? We're going to do that for you. Let's plan a party for you. So before the party happens, the mom goes to investigate the barn. Yeah. And just takes pictures of the biggest spider web on Earth.
Like, red flags are all over.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, look at this giant spider web that no spider in America will ever make. Let me just take 1 million pictures of it. But yeah, so she's like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll tell my husband, who has a crippling fear of spiders. So this is when we learned his backstory. He says when he was a spider crawled into his crib. He couldn't move. He was too afraid to move. He froze and it crawled up his leg and it bit like the shit out of him.
Yep. And he cried and cried and cried like a little bitch.
Yes. And ever since then, he's been terrified of spiders. So she tells him like, hey, we're going to go in there. You're going to face your fear. Tim, facing your fear doesn't work.
We've tried it. It doesn't work.
It's happened to me. I've talked about it on the show. I'm terrified of eye stabbings, which the fans really have a lot of fun with. Speaking of this, this is handmade for me.
Yeah, no.
It's a pen holder.
I'm good on that.
Yeah,
no eye stabbings either.
Yeah, so I hate those, and then I accidentally poked my eye years ago. And then it turns out I have a rare cell issue in my eyes. So when they get irritated, the only way to fix it is to go in with needles and razors and cut it up a different way so it heals differently. I've had that procedure 3 times.
Guess I'm buying you sunglasses for your birthday.
Yeah. So you could say I faced my fear because I was so afraid of that years before. I was always afraid of eye
Doesn't sound
injuries.
like it went great.
No, I'm actually more afraid than ever. I am more terrified than I've ever been in my entire life of eye stabbings.
That's great.
Demolition Man, the eye on the needle, that scarred me for life. And I'm like, I hope I never have needles in my eyes. And then I've had it so many times. And I'm like, it's only worse. It's only worse. So when I'm hearing her say face her fear, I'm like, no, it'll get worse.
Yeah, that's like me with cornfields. I don't have a fear because of
You
children.
and Joey C, both afraid of cornfields.
Well, I'm not saying because of Children of the Corn. It's because of the scene in E.T. when he finds him in the corn and he makes that obscure. Yeah, I just want to strangle him.
You're afraid of being a lovable,
Yeah,
friendly alien?
yeah, that's what. Yeah, fuck him.
Joey C's afraid of cornfields because of Jeepers Creepers too.
Yeah, not me.
When
It's E.T. Go figure. Sorry, Joey. We're not
many-
the same.
So many people are afraid of E.T.
Yeah. I don't know why.
You see Heidi Klum's costume?
For some reason, that was hot. Wasn't scared of that one.
God bless her. She's the only hot woman celebrity on earth that's like, I'm going to get real creative with.
Fully committed to the bit.
Yes. And I'm like, good for her.
Yeah.
Every other girl's like, I'm going to be a sexy cat. It's like, no. She's like, no, I am rich. I know special effects people.
Yeah.
I'm going all out. I'm going to be a worm this year.
Yeah,
Like,
and she was literally like, she might as well have been a worm in E.T.'s neck with the eyes, you know? But she crushed it. It was unbelievable.
Oh, it was awesome. That
So
was
good.
awesome. Oh, man. Okay. So, yeah, he goes to face his fear.
Yeah.
Doesn't work out. The ladder breaks. He gets hit in the face with a dead rat, a cocooned rat.
Nothing could have gone worse.
Had he looked around, though, and not fallen, he might have seen that giant egg sack that's about to hatch and just explode full of spiders. Did you make a note of what the real spiders used were? Because I didn't.
I did not. The only thing I know is that the spider wrangler used wires to control the vibration in the spider's movements. However, I don't know what type of spider it was.
I will look up what type of spider it is. I meant to do that earlier. I forgot. They're weird looking. They have like those legs that always look like they're laying down, kind of, except for when they're running.
Yes.
Yeah, they look bizarre. But they are real spiders
They are,
compared to the general and the queen, who are very clearly animatronics.
Animatronics, yeah. I mean, that's what's cool about this movie is that fact for sure.
Yeah.
There's just like real spiders on set and a lot of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see how people who are afraid of spiders don't like it.
Yeah, didn't want to, except John Goodman. Apparently, he did not give a shit about the spiders. Where Jeff Daniels was genuinely scared.
Oh my god! For some reason, this reminds me. Two things that did this. Remember the Orkin commercial where it made it look like a bug was on your screen?
Yes.
On the wings of a legend, he senses your arrival. Pegasus.
Once bugs get into your home, there's only one way to get them out.
And like there were stories where people like threw stuff at their TVs.
Yes, broke their
But
TVs.
before that, X-Files did that. There was a cockroach episode of the X-Files.
Okay.
It was actually one of the funnier ones. And there's one scene right before it goes to commercial break. They made it look like a cockroach was on screen. Apparently, I think that's where the Orchid commercial got the idea from.
Okay.
But both times I remember being like, oh my God.
Damn, I gotta check that out. That's great.
They should have done that for this movie where just randomly there was a spider on the screen.
Yeah, like it wasn't traumatizing enough. Let's like totally fuck you guys over.
And then Frank Sinatra plays the Summer Wind.
Right.
And they have a party.
Yep.
They are partying. This is where the old lady from Happy Gilmore shows up.
Yes.
She is the old doctor's wife.
Love her.
We were meeting some of the new people in town, like their neighbors, the gym coach with the the real sporty family.
Yeah, and that dude's in. He's the guy in like They Live and all those Carpenter movies, right? The football coach. Is it the same guy?
Yeah, he looks familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, so I like his daughter. Like, what are you going to college for, Jim?
yeah.
So yeah, I do love that part where he's like, yeah, my son's on the team and I'm the coach. And she goes, nepotism. And the wife's like, oh no, we're Baptist.
we're Baptists. Yes. So good.
This
it's the
scene
little
is-
stuff like that.
Yeah, this scene is really, really good. The old doctor's being an asshole.
Dude, everyone is such a dick.
I do like that the wife calls him out though.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah, the whole town threw me a party. She's like, you threw that party for yourself. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Fucking owned.
But then we get reminded, like, Manly's parents are there, and the mom is, like, drinking way too much. Like, she's not dealing with it well. And they're just like, who's that? They're like, oh, that's Mr. Manly's parents. He died in Venezuela and got sent back. So the spiders are, like, crawling around. This is Margaret's house, I think.
Right.
Margaret's throwing the party. I do like the spiders on the table, and they put the cup on it,
Yep.
and it just starts moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that night, Margaret has a spider in her house.
Yep.
This is rough. It almost gets the cat, but it's okay. She gets the cat, and much like my friend Vito Gisvaldi, she puts it outside, assuming nothing bad will happen to it. Spoiler, his cat never came home. And then she remembers her husband, and she's like, oh, you would have had fun today. It would have been great. And right away, you're like, well, that lady's dying. She's home by herself. She's old. She's remembering her husband. She's about to die. And sure enough, she goes to, like, turn off the light, and it just bites her.
Yep.
Now, this is my question.
Let's hear it.
Why are the spiders targeting humans
Yeah,
and not eating them?
you don't really hear anything besides like, oh, this species is aggressive. Like in the beginning, like they say something about the aggressiveness, but yeah, we don't. Really
Maybe
know.
it's just, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe they're just biting it because they're annoyed.
Yeah, like,
But they're not eating the humans. They
No.
are eating, and I like that they acknowledge it a little
Yeah.
bit later in the film. But yeah, at times it almost seems like they're going out of their way to attack
yeah.
humans. Unless it's like, hey, we know those things can kill us. Let's kill it, and then we just hang out in their house and just eat a bunch of shit.
I mean, that's what I would do if I was a spider.
But yeah, she's Deadsville. The next day, Ross is shooting nails in his basement. I like it, just shooting through the
I'm
floor.
like, this is not Tim Allen status. He is
No.
fucking up. Like,
And again, this is set up and payoff for like later on with the wood and the nail gun.
yep.
They're establishing this stuff early. It's a
Yep.
lot of fun. It's always fun when you go back and you're like, oh, the nail gun from earlier.
Exactly.
Instead of like they just found a weapon last minute. So yeah, Molly asks Ross, she's like, hey, can you go check on Margaret? He finds her dead. And then the doctor accuses Ross of killing her.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is on Jeff Daniels so hard in this.
Oh,
movie.
especially the sheriff. We
The
forgot
sheriff.
all about
Yeah,
the sheriff.
Where's he from? He's from so much.
God
shit.
damn it. Why didn't I write it down?
it's
He
so
is in
much-
a lot of shit. Do you want to look it up?
I need to, just because
My
that-
phone is charging. I can't look it up.
That dude is in everything in the 90s, and he's such a dick to Jeff Daniels.
I feel like I
Pisses
saw
me
him in
off.
like an infomercial once. He's in a bunch of shit.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Look it up real quick.
Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. He's like one of the dads in that. He's also in Dinosaurs, Xenon, Dirt Bike Kid, a
Okay.
bunch of Disney shit. So that makes sense.
okay.
That's probably why I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dirt Bike Kid. I think I've seen Dirt Bike
Yeah, it's
Kid.
with the kid from Christmas Stories.
Yes, I've seen that then. So he hates Jeff Daniels because he wrote him a ticket and then Margaret ripped it up and told him to be nice.
Big shot doctor. I'm like, what the
Oh yeah, this is like that weird 90s thing where like if you're in a small town going to college was like the worst thing in the world.
Like you're a fucking like sellout loser, and just because you're smarter doesn't mean shit.
I mean, if our generation found out too late that college is mostly a scam, so it turns out those guys were right.
Literally, I'm one of those. So
Yeah, really, it should have been like, you idiot, you're being overcharged for bullshit.
facts. Unfortunate facts.
Turns out they were right. Anyway, so yeah, he hates him.
Yeah.
And he's totally siding with Old Doctor. Old Doctor's like, you took her off her blood pressure medicine.
Exactly.
You killed her.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, well, no, it was wrong. You shouldn't have had it on it. And then he's like, we should do an autopsy. And he's like, you want to chop her up? And I'm like, I don't know if,
You don't have to chop her.
I don't think
up.
they'll chop her up. I think they test the blood or
Blood,
something.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
for sure. I could be wrong.
Not a doctor,
But I don't think they're
I went to
ripping-
college, but
I don't know. Like for this, you might be able to just test the blood first. I don't know if you have to rip out
a little
organs.
exaggerated for sure.
Yeah. Also, you just cover it up. Like you don't see that in the casket. But he's like against it. He's like, no. And you're like, this town will never accept you. And Jeff Bridges is like, I don't really care about that. I want to make sure people don't die.
Jeff Daniels, fucking, they are like, yeah. It's just overly harsh. That doctor sucks. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, again, accuses of murder. But then for some reason, the gym coach picks up Ross. He's like, I want to hire you for
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Oh god.
And it's like, oh, for whatever reason, like I guess the word got around that he is good.
yeah.
But yeah, he wants to send him new patients. He talks about it at the funeral.
Yeah.
He's like, I wanted to tell you new patients. He's like, oh, that's great. I don't know if you should have said that out loud.
Right.
But before that, we get our first look at Delbert.
Yes.
Delbert McClintock.
The legend.
John Goodman.
The legend.
He shows up. It's funny how he just kind of like shows up and then like he has 2 scenes and then for the whole 3rd act, they're like, he's now a main character. It's like, he is? Okay.
I'm down. I love him.
He's great. He's in there.
And it's like that, like quirky, almost like the Bulk and Skull Power Ranger thing, where it's like the goofy music, like when he walks in, and it's just like he's just so wholesome and
He
great.
just comes down there and he's like, yeah, termites. They're like, my husband thinks he's like, oh yeah, is that an educated cat? Like he's being real smug. But I like that he's just like, yeah, you don't have termites, you got bad wood. I'm like, what do you do? Replace bad wood.
Yeah,
make it good wood.
exactly. And I was telling you before this that like how that was originally what they wanted him to be John Candy, but then Spielberg pushed for Goodman, which I think
I
think
think
couldn't have gone wrong either way. But we love John.
Yeah,
Goodman.
it would have been. That's another one. Like both would have been fine. I think it works way better for John Goodman.
I agree.
But the next day, Jeff Daniels is walking with the gym coach.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how, like, yeah, there's no sirens or anything. He's, yeah, just crickets. And they're like, I haven't actually heard a lot of crickets lately. And the gym coach is like, yeah, neither have I. So these
Shifty
things are
eyes.
just destroying the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely wrecking all these crickets.
It turns out he's there to give all the kids physicals for a scene that goes on for a
Way too
while.
long. Just like, just constant ball grabs and coughs.
Grabbing all their balls and hearing them go.
And what does that check for? Like ball cancer? I don't know what that checks for. Like, what does that do?
You know what's funny? I don't think I've had physicals, but I don't think I've ever had the
ball cough?
Yeah.
I don't know why we do that. I genuinely don't.
I don't remember.
And that's all he did.
I don't ever remember doing. I've definitely had a doctor hold my junk and shit.
Yeah.
But I never had to cough, I feel. Have you had to cough? I don't think
I've
I've ever
never had to
cough.
do the ball cough.
Yeah. Maybe that was something they realized they didn't need to do. I don't know. And he looks miserable the whole time.
He's like, I can't believe this is my life. I left the city for this.
Okay, so this scene used to like terrify me.
Yeah.
And all these scenes that are like this terrify me, but like the spider gets into the helmet.
Oh yeah, dude. Anything like that.
The buildup is really good too. It's like everyone's playing football. The doctor, Ross, is sitting on the bench, and then we see that it's crawling under the bench. And we think it's going to get him, but it ends up not getting him. It like moves toward, and it just gets into the guy's helmet. Dude puts the helmet on. And it's kind of like sad and tragic. Like he's just playing the game. He gets tackled and then he just doesn't get up.
Yeah, and it's like they made sure to make it look like a hard hit. Like it was simultaneous. Like once again, good writing.
Yes.
And like he's just not moving.
He's just not moving. And it's funny. Like they take the helmet off and they're doing all this stuff. And the one guy like crushes the spider without realizing. So there's no evidence that it was even there. That part was like tragic. It's like, oh shit, that kid just put a helmet on and now he's dead. And there's a little kid that like fucked me up.
I know.
I was like, oh my God. It just happened.
That used to get me for sure.
Yeah. So we're at another funeral. But this is like where old doctor is just sabotaging
it's over for
Ross.
It's over for Jeff Daniels right now.
Yes. He was just like, I heard it wasn't even that big of a tackle.
Yeah.
If only I had been there, I probably would have done something. And like, by the way, Jeff Daniels, Ross is like 3 feet away. And it's like, really, dude?
Yeah, like I can hear you like visible. Like everyone hates me, and now you're talking shit at this funeral.
Yeah, it's like could you not, you dumb asshole? Oh, and then things get worse for Ross. He comes home and the kids are like sad.
Yeah.
They're like, what's wrong? They're like, the kids are calling you Dr. Death. Was this before or after Kevorkian? After. It had to have been, right?
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe around the time.
I actually thought about that when they said Dr. Death when I was watching it today. I was like, oh, wait a minute. We just talked about Halloween 5. That's Halloween 5, right? Yeah. There was Dr. Death in Halloween 5.
But I'm thinking of the real life Dr. Kevorkian.
Oh, okay.
Who, of course, got caught mercy killing a bunch of old people.
So that's like multiple Dr. Deaths.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Dr. Deaths.
Here we go.
Did you ever watch old In Living Color skits?
Only like what I've been seeing like recently. I feel like they've been like popping up on IG and stuff.
There's such a good one. It's Jim Carrey. It's Dr. Kevorkian's Home Remedies.
Oh my God.
And it's a book of home remedies. Yeah. And it's literally just how to kill yourself.
Oh my God. I gotta see that.
At one point, I think he puts like a bunch of lights in a tub and just shocks. Dr. Kevorkian's Home Remedy.
Dude, he is so good in that too. Doesn't hold back.
good.
I gotta see that.
Oh, one of my favorite. I saw a lot of people were sharing it around Halloween when he was the Gary Oldman
Yeah,
Dracula.
That's the one I saw.
I've crossed oceans of time for you. Could have just
So
called.
good. So good. He plays such a good vampire.
But yeah, Dr. Kevorkian's Home Remedies. You gotta see that
Check
one.
that one out.
It's so-
Check it out.
He just shoots a girl. Look up Dr. Kevorkian. that was a fun trial. That was a fun thing that happened in the 90s.
Boy.
So yeah, this is another moment where it's real funny. I think Jeff Daniels is like totally making fun of the doctor, like insulting him.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the old doctor saying the same thing about him.
Yeah, they're just talking shit on each other. Like,
yeah, because he had to explain to his kids like what autopsies were. They're like, say you want to chop people up. He's like, no, that's not. God damn you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's
God
when
damn
we're
it.
not sure how someone died. You can look at it and get a better idea.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the doctor, who's all concerned about his health now, is like on like the treadmill,
Yeah.
which doesn't have a timer.
Nope.
Couldn't even spring for the good one.
Couldn't even check his macros, man.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he's blaming Ross for everything, and then the wife is like, "Could you just shut up?" Like she's like
She's done. She's
Yeah.
done with him. Yeah.
she's just like, he's like, "Wow, that doctor will never be respected." She's like, "You gotta stop caring about like being liked. What is your issue?" But while this is going on, we see the spider crawl in to the slipper.
Yep.
And again, this is another one that scared the shit out of me as a
I
kid.
checked
I'm
my
like,
shoes.
yeah.
I
I
check
feel
my
like
shoes,
everyone who
dude.
watches like check their
Check your
shoes for a little
shoes.
bit. They're like, is there anything in there?
Yeah, if I'm like in a cabin or something,
Yeah.
I'm checking my shoes.
Yeah, so he puts a slipper on and he just like gets bit. And I like that he's like, I'm having a seizure. She's like, what do I do? And he's like, call Dr. Ross.
Yeah, after all that, right? After all that.
And then Dr. Ross like rushes. Although if I was him, I'd take my time.
Yeah, I'd hit Wawa or something first, for sure. Fuck this guy. Talk
You
shit
pull
on me the
a
whole time.
Lane on Seinfeld where she finds out her boyfriend is in the hospital,
Yeah,
but then
yeah,
she stops to get junior mints.
Yeah, junior mints or jujubes, whatever.
Oh yeah, jujubes.
I love that.
I love that when he's
Literally
like,
me.
wait, where did you get that? She's like, I got a thing afterwards. She's like, wait, what? You stopped for snacks?
Yes.
I did the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd be there.
So yeah, he dies. He like seized
Dude,
up
he
and
is
just
dead
dies.
before Jeff Daniels even gets there.
Yeah, then Ross meets with the coroner,
Mm-hmm.
who's not the mortician from earlier, a different guy.
Yeah.
And
Like
he-
a bolo on.
yeah, he's a little standoffish at first.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, I think it's a heart attack. He was exerting himself
Yeah.
beforehand. He's like, I heard you don't like to agree with people. It's like, no, I'll agree with them if I think it's right.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is right. And like, they said it was a spider bite. And he mentions, he's like, I've only ever seen one spider bite death, and it was a 1-year-old with a black widow. So it was
yeah.
like a very extreme case. But he tells him, he's like, I think we need an autopsy. He's like, if the wife agrees, I'll do it.
Yep.
Surprisingly, she agrees.
Yeah.
After all the bitching her husband did about being anti-autopsy, she's like, yeah, cut that fucker up.
Yeah. She's revolting.
Is hanging up her photographs in his office, which will
Right.
come back later.
Right.
Yeah, then he gets a call from the coroner, and he's like, hey, I don't want to confirm it, but there is an unknown venom in
Yup.
his thing that I can't rule out spider bite or all the other things. So the coroner's now concerned. He's like, wait, he might be right.
Yeah.
We have to look into this. And then he tells him, he's like, okay, I want the bodies of the previous victims exhumed.
Yep.
It's just rough. Yeah, so they're like digging that up, and the sheriff is not happy about it. Then Ross's daughters stay with the neighbor's kids. And he tells him, he's like, please, if you see a spider, just run away.
Yeah.
Just run away. Don't attempt to do anything. Just run.
And these kids don't give a
No,
shit.
right on cue, they're playing Itsy Bitsy Spider and
Yeah.
scaring at each other. And then, of course, there is a spider coming down.
Oh my god, do you remember like the doll's eyes open?
Okay, I did have it here. That used to terrify.
Yeah, so
Because when I was a kid,
scary.
I guess I didn't know what those dolls were. I eventually saw them later on.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there were dolls that could just open their eyes when you lay them down
Yeah.
or whatever. So when it opened its eyes, I thought it was like a haunted doll. Like, it scared me. I'm like,
Yeah.
is the doll? Is there a spider
Like,
in
what is
the doll?
happening?
What is going on here? But yeah, such good tension building because it's like coming down. The
And they're
doll's
singing
opening.
the song, like the
They're
whole
singing
thing.
the song. Luckily, the sister comes in, interrupts them, and then they kill it on accident.
Accident.
They drop the
The
book on
and
it and then step on it.
Yeah.
So
Like
that
there's
was
You know what I never realized? Did you pick up the book later? Like, did you see the smushed goo?
I'd be like, ew. So that was really, really cool. Ross thinks he's about to get a spider. It ends up being a cricket.
Yeah.
And then he feels bad for it. He's like, where are all you crickets?
Yeah, he's like bonding with the cricket.
Yeah, he's like, where are the rest of you guys? And then we see that the queen or general spider, I'm not sure which one's which.
Yeah.
So at this point, they explain it a little bit, but for you guys watching, they explain that like the general had sex with a regular house spider and it then produced a queen that it's now mating with. So one of them crawls into the cellar because there's a hole in the window. Ross calls Atherton the next day. And he's like, please, I need your help. And Atherton's like, did you know this about spiders?
Yeah, it's literally like completely like, okay, buddy.
That is also another 90s trope where they call the expert and the expert is just like way too, they just overly talk about their shit. Like, well, did you know this and this and this?
Literally like dismissing you. Like,
yeah.
you're a fucking idiot. Yeah.
It reminds me of Quint from Jaws, who just knows way too much about sharks. It's like, okay, buddy, just listen to me.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, there's like, you have thousands of spiders around you at any given moment. Jeff Daniels is like, please stop.
Like,
please stop talking about
there's
that.
like literally multiple people dead.
Yeah, so he's like terrified. Meanwhile, Julian Sands is like hitting the web to attract the spider.
Yeah.
But he tells him the town that he's in. He's like, that sounds familiar.
And then
Yeah, so he sends his assistant out. They exhume the bodies. All three have bites on them. And I like that the assistant is like not ready for this.
He is like not good. He's like, I got done.
Well, you got to figure like he studies animals and bugs.
He's not used to seeing dead
He's not
bodies.
looking at dead bodies and he's not sure about the one, but then he sees the other two and he's like, oh, that is a spider bite for sure.
And the coroner's still eating Ruffles. As they're chilling, still just eating, always eating.
It'll be his undoing, his eating.
Yep.
But yeah, he's just like, look, even like the most venomous spider in the world, like, couldn't kill you. This is like insane. Yeah. He alerts Atherton and he's just like, you got to come out here and check this out for yourself.
This is out of my league.
Yeah. Then we get like a really cool scene where Jeff Daniels is in bed and he sees the spider on his wall.
Yes. This is like us when like we see a bunch of laundry on a chair and we think it's Michael
I
Myers.
was gonna say it reminded me of the Hereditary did it the best. I think Hereditary did the best with like where you have to strain your eyes to see stuff, where he thinks his daughter's there and then her head falls up but it's like a baseball or basketball or something. But this is like an early thing with that where it's the spider on the wall and he's like terrified, and as he gets closer he realizes it's just the hook.
It's like a hook.
But it's cool to see him like he's losing it. He's just like,
I'd be too at this point. This is like no joke.
Yeah. So yeah, then they go to I think they go to Margaret's house. Okay. They're examining her house. And of course, Fat Sheriff is like,
is this when he's checking the mugs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he grabs like a thing of cereal, just starts stuffing his face.
And what happens, Tony, what's happening when
he almost eats a dead spider. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the gym coach's daughter is in the shower. And he's about to use the toilet, and there's a spider in the toilet and a spider in the shower.
The two most vulnerable places where I never want to find spiders.
And they're putting those scenes at the same time. It's like, ah!
I am still afraid of shower spiders to this day. It's something about being naked and vulnerable and there being a spider in there with you. Like,
yeah, you do get to see a spider go between some boobs.
You get a little underboob. Yeah.
This is like when shower stuff, like I talked about this when me and Crystal did Psycho.
Okay.
And it's like, me and Crystal know from experience, we shot a sleazy shower scene many, many years ago. But yeah, there's a difference between like Psycho worked because it's like, oh yeah, you are vulnerable. You're not clothed. You're completely exposed. That's why those shower scenes work. But then like hack filmmakers afterwards are like, it's an excuse to have a naked lady. Like, no, not really. I feel like you're missing out.
That's the point.
Yeah, you could put it just so happened Janet Leigh was attractive. You could put anyone in the shower and it would have the same effect. Yep. But some people miss the point. But this one I felt was done right because it wasn't very exploitative or anything. No. You see a little bit of boob, that's it. And it wasn't about how hot she was. It was about like, holy shit, there's a spider in the shower and it might get her. And of course, this shower scene wouldn't be topped until the Killer Jack Frost movie with Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh my God, please. Have you done Jack Frost?
On rental reviews, I did.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I gotta watch that.
My favorite moment is I was watching my ex-girlfriend and that scene came on. Yeah. And the scene comes on, and I know what's happening. And then she goes to me, and she's just like, "What happened to the carrot in its nose?" And I looked at her, I'm like, "Where do you think happened to the carrot on its nose? Where do you think that carrot could possibly be?"
Amazing.
I'm like, "Why did you even ask?
Yep.
Why did you even ask?"
Perfect setup.
Anyway, both of them make it out of this.
Yep.
The spider lands on her face, but it gets washed down the drain, and he gets up from the toilet before he gets a chance to bite him. But that was, again, another tense scene. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, nobody wants a spider in the ass, dude.
Yeah, but it's also not just there for the hell of it. It does lead into something that comes later. So yeah, then Ross and the boys, they find a living spider.
Yep.
And I like that it's like following them. Like the lab assistant is just like, oh wait, it won't let me go near it. It's dead focus on me. So he's like, hey, I have a cup here. You need to move, Ross.
Yeah.
So like it'll look at you and I can put a thing over it. And he's like, I'm too terrified to move.
I can't move.
And then he explains, he's like, our bodies produce a whatever.
Oh yeah, a neuro thing.
Yeah, it's a genetic thing, a neuro thing to make us deal with this. He's like, I don't think I have that.
Yeah.
I will say the one like I don't know if it's an insect, whatever bug it is. Those 1,000-leggers, those are like my spiders. Like,
no, really,
they terrify me.
Oh shit.
Those terrify me.
You're not a centipede or a 1,000-legger.
It's specifically those.
Oh,
Any
wow.
other centipede, I'm fine with.
Interesting.
Those specifically terrify me, and we get them down. Not right now. It's not the season for them, but that's why I run that dehumidifier all summer long. I'm like, I gotta get them out of here. And everyone's like, oh, it's a sign of a clean house. I'm like, fuck it, they scare me.
Yeah.
I don't want them near me.
That's great.
My old house where I used to live just had a ton of that.
Wow.
We didn't have a dehumidifier back then. I didn't know that's what that was causing it because they like humid areas.
Sound like my dad.
Yeah. But no, I was just like, I was thinking, I'm like, oh man, if this movie was about that, I wouldn't be, I would never be able to watch it. I would
call
just
John Goodman, man. Bring him in.
So yeah, they're able to catch it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they put the glass on it.
Yeah, they put the glass on it. And then Delbert shows up again. And he's looking for spiders in the coach's house. And I like that he's like reaching under and it like totally misses him. He's like, there's no spider here. Meanwhile, there's literally a spider underneath. He goes outside and he sees one and he's spraying it, but it's not dying from his spray.
Nope.
And he's very pissed about it. So he just
power stomps it.
Yeah. So they identify the spider. They look at it. They go through the origin. So they figure out the general spider, the male, came there, made it with the female house spider. It produced an offspring queen that it's now mating with. But these are like drones, which are more similar to ants and bees,
like
which
soldiers,
again,
right?
spiders don't really do. They don't last very long. But he said, like, if they keep going at it, eventually it will produce more queens and they'll spread out.
Yep. And
this will be like a problem for everyone. So like, all right, we got to kill the queen and the general right now before they reproduce another queen. And they talk about like where the nest could be.
Oh, is this when they're like on the map and they're like
no, the map is coming up.
Okay.
But they're talking about the nest. So, like the nest would be like a human place.
Right.
And there won't be any other spiders because they're cannibals.
Yes.
So yeah, they were like, okay, we got to talk to the mortician. So they go to his house and they're like, oh wait, Wheel of Fortune's on. He's got the phone off the hook.
Yo, literally, my mom used to do that.
Really?
Phone off the hook for Wheel of Fortune. I swear, dude. She is the best Wheel of Fortune player of all time.
Yeah.
I digress. But yeah, dude, literally, that just hit so hard for me.
Well, he's the worst not checking his food person of all time because the spider gets in the popcorn.
How is it possible that you missed that?
It's pretty big.
It's big.
It's pretty big. And I feel like it would taste awful.
No, it would be bad.
How does it kill them both? Unless there's multiple ones. Yeah, so like she like the wife gets a handful of popcorn, shoves it in, and then it cuts away. And I do like this callback here where I forgot to mention Delbert, the previous scene, Delbert shows up. He's like, I saw one of your spiders. They're like, do you have it on? He's like, yeah, it might be on my shoe.
Oh, is that what he's
Yeah.
What he's like? It's always nice to meet a colleague.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're like, because it is mine, like we're the same thing. We both study spiders.
Yeah.
So yeah, Atherton stayed behind. Then he wanted to go to the location because he knows where they're going. But he sees the photos in the on the hallway.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
recognizes the webbing from Venezuela. He's like, where were they? He's like, oh, the doctor's wife took him. He's like, you got to take me there right now.
Yep.
Again, so much setup and payoff. It's really, really
Great
cool.
script.
The mortician is dead. And he's that weird 90s, almost plastic looking dead body. There were a couple of those.
Yeah.
His face looks like it's made out of whatever Sam Jackson's arm was made out of in Jurassic
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah, he was worse than the banana guy in the beginning, for sure. For sure.
I don't know what it is. There's a couple movies where it's just like, that doesn't look like a human. That looks weird and plasticky. Sam Jackson's arm in Jurassic Park is the worst effect in that movie. It almost looks
was.
wooden.
It was.
But this is terrifying when the spider crawls out of his nose. Like, wait, did it eat them from the inside?
That was nightmare fuel. That was bad. When I was a kid, that was bad.
You know what scene used to creep me out? Speaking of Jim Carrey again, in Cable Guy.
Yeah.
Where he's on the phone, it's all creepy, and the spider just crawls over, and he has no reaction to it.
Yup.
That used to freak me out.
Dude. Another good movie.
Yeah. So yeah, Atherton and the sheriff, they go into the barn. He sends the sheriff to go get the rest of the guys. And then the sheriff is like, please don't go into that barn. I don't want to be responsible for you. And he's like, sure enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
He just goes in and examines it like an idiot. So then we cut back to Ross. He finds out this is where they're looking at the map.
Right,
like,
right.
okay, so they'll spread out in a web pattern. He's like,
And then he circles.
yeah.
Wait,
What's that? He's like, that's my house. He's like, the thing's been in my barn the whole time.
Dumbo.
Why didn't it eat them first? That is a good question. Once they hatch, why don't they just go
That's
into that
true.
house? And then cut back to Atherton. He's in the attic of the barn. He's seeing rats and bats.
Yep.
And then for whatever reason, he decides to do the tugging on the web trick to call the spider out. He's like, all right, come and get it. And it's like, did you forget that these things jump?
Not a good call. Really bad
It
call.
jumps at him, like bites the shit out of his neck.
So much for that expert, man.
Oh, we forgot to mention they test the venom on like a mouse and it
the
just
mouse,
dies
yeah.
instantly. Delbert gets there into the barn. He's tested his new spray, which works way better.
Is this when he whips out
Yeah.
double barrels?
I think he might do it here and the other scene.
Yeah.
But he's not geared up. He
Okay.
just has the spray.
Yeah.
But this is like where we see it like it's melting then, like they're
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dissolving. But
Yeah,
I
all
love
the little smoke effects.
I
Yeah.
love when Atherton's body comes down and he's like, oh God, they got the professor.
Minimal reaction, but like awesome.
Shit, what's the sitcom they're watching with Michael J. Fox and what's his face from Tremors?
see.
Well, it's a Michael J. Sitcom, so we
Yeah.
get to see a spider crawling on Michael J. Fox's face.
Yes.
But oh God, what's his name? Who's the guy who stars in Tremors? Hold on, Michael Gross.
Michael Gross.
1990. This was the second monster movie he was in with Tremor.
There we go.
I
You get
mean,
an appearance.
it's a cameo on a TV. We reviewed all the Tremors movies at once a few years back.
I love Tremors.
Me and Movie Dumpster, go back and watch that episode. We did
Watch it.
every single
Those are
one
our
of
friends.
them. I gotta maybe I'll do. You know how I do those bonus shows on Patreon?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do the Tremor series one day.
Fun.
I gotta finish Blade Boys first. We're really into Blade Boys at the moment.
Oh boy.
What, do you not like the Sticky Fingers Blade TV series?
I guess. Maybe
In
I'll have-
Deadpool 3, when Wesley Snipes came, you didn't go, not my Blade, where's Sticky Fingers?
I didn't say where's sticky fingers, but I did start. I did start doing your pose when the Blood Rave song drops,
Oh yeah, I love that you found that video.
dude.
Yeah, so a few years back at Crypt Video Rentals,
Number one.
yeah, the first one, they were playing the nightclub from Blade theme, and everyone's dancing, and I like stood in the corner like Blade staring at everyone.
And like the lighting is just right on Tony.
You weren't the only one, because I think Crystal filmed me, but like my phone compressed it. So when you sent me that footage, I'm like, well, that's actually a really good video.
so
Just me just
funny.
looking like they don't know I'm Blade.
It was so good.
The spiders are starting to swarm the house.
Yeah.
I guess it's a reaction to what Delbert's doing with the spray. Now they feel threatened. I don't know why they
Ultra aggressive.
Yes. I don't know why they're choosing now to swarm, other than he like fucked with the barn and they were like, oh wait, the nest is near. We got to protect this. They all start
Yes.
swarming the house.
Must be that neurotoxin or whatever.
And yeah, this scene is tense. They are everywhere.
Yeah. And
They're
it's
like,
gnarly. And
yeah.
There's so many real ones. Like
yes. That's why it's so intense.
Yeah.
Like they're just crawling on the walls. They're crawling the door. And like, you know that one bite, you're dead.
yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm playing an old Nintendo game, which I think there was a Nintendo game. I don't know how it plays.
there?
I'd have to look into it.
Oh.
Where it's like one hit and you're dead. Like, so it's just like, because I'm looking at the door, I'm like, theoretically, I could probably open fast enough, but what if one falls on me? I don't know what I would do here. So they like make a plan to go up to the bathroom, and they're like swatting it away. Yeah. The family gets out, but not Jeff Daniels. He's stuck. Not. But the family will be safe because now John Goodman's in war mode.
Rock and roll.
Double guns and just walks into a house literally covered in
I
spiders.
wish we saw more of that.
I know.
Because after this, it goes all in on Jeff Daniels in the basement. I'm like, I would have loved that he just cut a little bit more of him just being like
slow motion.
Yeah.
And,
like Ripley and Aliens. Yeah. Like, yeah. Like a heavy metal song playing.
Yeah.
So he's in war mode. He's taking care of them upstairs. Ross falls through the floor because it's bad wood, remember?
Rotten, and that man should be dead.
Yes, he should be really dead.
Over the railing, multiple floors to the basement.
Look, I know it was rotting wood, but I don't know how good it's going to be breaking your fall. Yeah, so he like falls, collapses under there, but there's no spiders down there because he realizes, oh shit, this is the actual nest.
This is it.
He finds, I believe, the queen.
Yes.
Starts chasing him. I love that, like, he's like looking for it and it's like crawling above him. It attacks him. He hits him with the shovel, but he doesn't realize it catches onto the shovel, and then he tosses it into the fuse box.
Yes.
And just fries the thing. It just completely melts. And then he finds the actual egg sack. And he's like, okay, I'm going to burn that egg sack with this makeshift fucking thing.
Like WD-40 with a lighter or something.
Were you ever stupid as a kid and tried that?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
A ton.
I remember my friends got scared because we turned the lighter off, but it was still flaming. We're like, ah! It didn't blow up. But we're like, oh no! We like threw it and then it just stopped. Yeah, this movie gave us bad ideas.
It did.
After that incident, I stopped though. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that again.
I totally kept doing that. Yeah.
So yeah, he's ready to burn it, but now the general shows up, which is horrifying. The thing is as big as shit.
And they call it what? The Big Bob, I think, is what they actually call it.
Oh, is that what they called it?
Yeah.
And I love the whole time Jeff Daniels is like narrating. He's like, that's the general. I better get him.
Go to the general and save some time. Just straight up.
So yeah, the general attacks him. He gets pinned underneath. Oh, another callback. So he gets pinned underneath the wine rack.
The wine racks.
And he starts picking up the wine and tossing it. And then he sees the one. He's just like, not the chateau. Not the chateau. And he puts it down. He picks up another one. He's throwing it at it.
Yeah.
Which was really, really funny. And then he like makes the flamethrower again, but this thing is agile.
Yeah, it's dodging him.
It's literally dodging.
Yeah.
It's literally running. Again, it feels like another video game. Actually, you know what video game it reminds me of?
Tell me.
Siphon Filter.
Whoa.
The
PS1
flamethrower
classic.
The flamethrower boss where you have to hide behind the pillars. It's
then,
literally doing the same thing. Flame hides behind something, waits for it to stop, runs to the next thing. It jumps out of a pipe at one point. It scares the shit out of him. He falls down and then it's crawling up his leg, much like it did when he was a baby.
Full circle.
Full circle moment.
Is he gonna freeze though, Tony?
Well, he is frozen. One, I don't know why the spider isn't biting him right away. And also, I don't know why he's not just like punching it. Like, I know its bite is pretty deadly, but one punch and it's dead, buddy. You can get it.
And literally, you've been throwing wine bottles at him for like...
I know. But I like that he waits till it's on a plank of wood and he catapults it into the fire.
So cool.
It is so cool. But that son of a bitch flies back out. Luckily...
What does he do?
The nail gun.
Yes.
The nail gun from earlier is there, and what the greatest aim in history, he nail guns the spider. Realistically, he probably could have just done nothing. It would have probably died 2 seconds later. But he nail guns it into the spider sack and melts the sack.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's so cool.
Such an awesome ending.
And then he's like congratulating himself, but Delbert thinks he's talking about him. He's like, yeah, don't mention it.
John Goodman always there for us.
Yeah, as if John Goodman was the hero of the picture. Although they do mention he had his own little adventure. She's like, Delbert killed most of them. The rest are just dying off.
So great.
Yeah, so they save the day, but then movie's not done. They go to San Francisco.
Oh.
And they play the song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, but we have to play it afterwards. I don't know if the score is mixing with the song, but the music in this scene sounds exactly like Trailer Park Boys.
Just if you were to remove the lyrics,
Yeah.
it is literally the.
But that's
intro
what
to Trailer
I
Park
feel like
Boys.
I've listened to that song before and didn't catch it. So that's why I don't know if it's like the score mixing with the song. I have to listen to it. But it literally is.
Like,
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
it is literally. it.
Do-do-do-do-do.
But the more important song is the credit song that I have to put a shout out to,
Yeah.
which is the Arachnophobia official song that Jimmy Buffett wrote for the movie called "Don't Bug Me."
Don't bug me, don't mug me.
Okay.
You can't listen to it anywhere but YouTube. Or
Okay.
unless you-
Were Frank Marshall and Jimmy Buffett friends? Because Jimmy Buffett has a cameo in
Yeah.
Congo.
Yep.
And then Frank Marshall produces all the Jurassic World movies. And Jimmy Buffett has a cameo in Jurassic World.
He loves Jimmy Buffett, dude. He
Jimmy
loves
Buffett were bros, I guess.
And this song is so good. Listen to
Yeah.
"Don't Bug Me" by Jimmy Buffett on YouTube.
Oh, man.
It is fantastic.
Speaking of Trailer Park Boys,
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll ever do another regular season. They can't without Leahy, right?
Well, the new movie's coming out with Bubbles. You heard about that, right?
Is it just one of their SwearNet movies, or is
No,
it?
it's like it's theatrical. Yeah.
But I mean, like, is it Trailer Park Boys, or is it just like because they do
I
other
don't-
stuff
I
too?
don't- Well, I mean, it is Bubbles playing himself, and he's gonna he's taking his band on the road or something. It's something
Okay,
like
that's
that.
stuff I don't mind. Like, I actually didn't mind the spin-off seasons where they traveled. Those were
Yeah.
fun. Did you watch those?
Yeah, I liked him.
Those are fun, but like after Leahy died, although now I'm
Yeah.
because like those Netflix seasons weren't the best.
Some were better than others. The
Yeah.
animated thing I didn't really like.
Well, that's the thing. So now the regular show, the last scene is them turning into a cartoon, which is
Yeah.
stupid.
Which led into the.
I heard the animated series wasn't bad though,
Yeah.
but I didn't check it out.
Wasn't
But no, I will say the Netflix seasons might not have been the best, but there are some of the funniest moments, and the one is Ricky destroying the house trying to put a towel rack up.
Yes.
And he accidentally
Destroys
destroys.
the house. Fantastic.
But yeah, I was thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for years. They haven't done a regular season since,
no.
and I'm like, you kind of can't without Leahy. Like the
No,
show's
that's
done.
and like because I just saw Randy, he was plugging the new movie, and he's in it. So maybe we'll probably have.
I'm fine
everybody
with
in.
them going like on other adventures. Like the
Yeah.
spin-off season was fun. I'm fine with them. I know they still do the podcast, but like I don't think I could ever watch a regular season of that show without Leahy.
It's gonna
It
be
just
too weird.
It'd just be too weird. It'd be too weird.
Eerie.
So Trailer Park Boys.
A little bit of Trailer Park Boys in there.
We should do best Trailer Park Boys movie.
Oh, I would be down.
Yeah.
Very down.
That would be good because that first one's not in continuity with the show,
No.
but the other two are.
Countdown to Liquor Day is amazing too. Like,
Countdown to Liquor Day is
are
pretty
really
good.
Yeah.
That third one was fun. Don't
It
legalize
was.
it.
I
where
loved it.
they try not to.
You can't watch that anywhere. Like
Really?
Well,
I
I
thought
mean, I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, but I know when you search Trailer Park Boys, like generally, like that one doesn't
Yeah.
come up too often. I don't know.
Yeah, that one was fun because it's like they don't want to legalize marijuana because then their business will be
Well, that's
screwed.
true,
And they went to the actual like protest or whatever
Yeah.
for it.
My favorite Trailer Park Boys is that like 45 or 50-minute special called "Say Goodnight to the Bad Guys."
Hmm. Yes.
That's like my favorite.
Yes.
dude. The singles dance. I love that one.
Yes. The best episode is when Ricky defends himself in court.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of people
Yes.
defending themselves in court.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite episodes. Anyway, back to Arachnophobia.
Sorry, guys.
They move into the city again.
Yep.
And they're excited for everything. They're like, yep, nothing crazy gonna happen here. And then there's just an earthquake.
Right away.
This family can't catch a break.
Nope.
Now, is this an earthquake from Venezuela that has made it with an American earthquake? Was the sequel to this going to be Earthquake?
Tony, the world may never know.
Well, can you look up if there's a term for fear of earthquakes?
Oh my God. Seismophobia.
That's
got
it.
one.
Look, they're trying to make a sequel. They're trying to reboot this, I think.
Okay.
Or there was some news in.
Wait, no, for real?
I feel like I saw something in 2022 saying they wanted to bring this back, do like a remake or something.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything about it since then. I don't know if Amblin needs to do it. I mean, their Jurassic movies just make so much goddamn money. They
Yeah,
don't really
no.
need to revisit Arachnophobia. But you know, Steven Spielberg, he produces movies like this so he can make movies for your granddad that don't make any money.
Which nobody likes. Yeah.
Not that people don't like it, they just don't go out to see them. But
Right.
like People are like, why does he always make these movies that flop? It's like, oh, because he also produces all the Transformers. And like, that's the reason he puts his name on that stuff, so he can fund all this other stuff. More power to him. I'd be doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it when you decide to write the script for Seismophobia.
Yes, we need a Seismophobia. Get new actors, but take place in the 90s.
Bring back John Goodman. Why not?
All right, yeah, we'll do it in the future. But yeah, Seismophobia.
There we go.
A Venezuelan earthquake has made it. Doesn't make any sense. We brought this earthquake back from Venezuela. It's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. How does an earthquake travel?
Quiet you. Doesn't have to.
We need to stop the Queen earthquake.
Somehow, 2 earthquakes have made it.
Causing a super earthquake. And if they breathe, they'll be... Oh, watch out. There's earthquakes all in that. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's all right. Seismophobia, guys. We're crowdfunding it right now.
I mean, are there any like great earthquake movies? Besides like Earthquake? Like, not really.
Yeah. All those disaster movies, I don't really remember a good... I mean,
San Andreas was pretty funny. Did you ever see San Andreas?
I know what it is. Never watched it.
That movie. I watched that movie. To this day, I can't tell. I'm like, is this a tongue-in-cheek parody that's pretending to be serious, or is this a serious?
Like, are we taking ourselves seriously with
That's
this?
the weird thing. So everyone, I'm like, you know how like in Naked Gun, like Leslie Nielsen is
Yes.
deadly serious.
Yeah.
That's like the movie is San Andreas is so ridiculous, but every character is deadly serious that like I legitimately am like, this feels like a parody, but everyone's taking it so seriously. I don't know if this is a joke or not. San Andreas is hilarious. It's so
You
stupid.
gotta do like best disaster flick or something.
I should.
Deep Impact and friggin' all.
Oh
those
well, I did
Volcano.
do Deep Impact
You
with
did Deep Impact?
Pedro.
Okay.
Oh, they go to check on the kids, and then like the wine spills, and
Yes.
you see everything shaking. It's a very clever ending. I love this movie.
It's fantastic.
I don't watch it enough. I really should watch it more.
I don't think anybody watches it enough.
I know. I
Like,
don't know.
Go back and watch this movie.
Maybe just because it just doesn't stream enough. I feel like cable kept a lot of these movies alive, but if they don't play on big streaming services these days, they just kind of get
This
lost.
is a good movie.
Because I'm just like Anaconda still gets played a lot on streaming sites. But yeah, I wish this played more often. It was on Amazon a while back. That's how I watched it a few years ago. But yeah, it was the first Holllywood Pictures video. They made some movies. I've actually
What
reviewed
did
some
they make?
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
I reviewed that this year. This year, Deep Rising. We covered Deep Rising
You
this
love
year.
Deep Rising.
Deep Rising is awesome.
love Deep
Deep Rising is
I know this.
awesome. But yeah, this is like one of the definitive 90s movies for me.
So good.
And it like again, it's one that you're gonna like as you get older. You're gonna
It's just it's aged well. It holds up. The
Yeah.
color palette of the tape is so iconic. Like
Yes.
the purple. Oh, what is that, Tony?
I think if I have time, I will go on Patreon and I'll go through the Arachnophobia comic, the novelization.
Nice.
Yes. I want to see if it is accurate to the film.
Super character accurate. From what I know.
Okay, well, I don't remember a toucan and a parrot in a web, but okay. You know what's funny? So Jurassic Park was definitely in development during this, and they have like several dinosaur jokes, but this is like 3 years before Jurassic Park came out.
Yeah.
Because it took so long to make that movie. And I like that they were just hinting at this thing that is on the way. Like
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe this will come back because Abmlin put out Twisters this year.
Hey, I mean, if they're gonna pick one, I think it's like it doesn't need to be made, but I think they could do it just as good, maybe.
And Twisters did really fucking good.
Did you like Twisters?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
I had fun with it.
Yeah,
I had fun
I
with
thought
it.
it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, it did what it needed to do. Much like Jurassic World, I'm just like, didn't need it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Same about the other. I don't know. I love Jurassic World, but it's the other.
Oh no, I love the fifth one,
Did
Fallen
you?
Kingdom. I love that
love
one.
that shit?
Dominion was a mess. Everyone agrees Dominion was, but that I did an episode on it. But that's one that like COVID threw a monkey wrench in the middle of production. So when it turned out to be a mess, I wasn't like, what happened? I'm like, nah, I can see why this kind of got all fumbled. But yeah, you know what? Fucking if Twisters got a sequel, we need an Arachnophobia sequel.
Sign the check.
But do it like Twisters, where it's not constant callbacks. That was one good thing about Twisters. It wasn't just
It kept itself.
besides
on
the
its own 2 feet,
Dorothy
for sure.
and like a few small things. It wasn't like, oh, and there's Helen Hunt and she's old. Like Maybe we need John Goodman. I don't know.
We do. We do.
Current, way too skinny John Goodman.
Yeah.
But don't make it like it's John Goodman's son. Like, just have him just show up.
Just have him show up.
But yes, I will look at this comic on Patreon.
Yeah.
And yes, tell us again where we can get the Arachnophobia drop.
Yeah. So the drop has been reactivated for this episode. Find it on tapesfromthecrib.net. Use your fan code HackTheTony to get your exclusive discount on this pre-order. But yeah, it's an awesome shirt. Use the same color palette. We have spiders on the back, and there's Tony rocking the original Arachnophobia employee shirt that John Goodman wore. Bugs Be Gone. We love it. And you can get your own Bugs Be Gone t-shirt from the drop. So there you go.
Nice. Definitely go there and get that. Get any other merch they have on there. You know what I get asked about all the time is my Godzilla 98 shirt.
It's Godzilla 98 is going to come back.
Nice.
I never thought I'd be saying that, but yes. But yes, there's been enough demand.
And will you do the real Buffy at any point?
Maybe for you. Maybe for you. We'll see.
I mean, you're sitting here with a total failure of the Sarah Michelle Gellar Buffy. I mean, who cares about
nobody likes this show.
Nah, nobody. Everyone loves the Christy Swanson.
Sure, everyone's seen that, Tony. It's all right, Tony. I support you, buddy.
Okay. Yes, that is it for us. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. Check out my merch store also, in addition to his. And yeah, let me know. Do you like Arachnophobia? Is this a definitive 90s movie for you?
I think so.
Please let us know in the comments below. Goodbye.
Bye.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other videos and Patreon page.